Hello and welcome back to Ruby Jean Reads. I'm Ruby Jean. I like to read. This is episode 2 of my Reading the Alphabet Challenge. A couple things to start off. I know you guys are like, great, it's episode 2. We're gonna read books D, E, and F. No. After going through 3 hours of footage and spending over a week filming A, B, and C, it occurred to me this challenge is only going to happen if I make a video for 2 books. Obviously, now I'm at an odd number, so I'll probably have to do XYZ in one video. We'll get there when we get there. But for today, we're just going to be reading Book D and Book E. My goal is to read 2 letters from the alphabet every single week to the end of the year so that I finish this challenge by the end of the year. Now, as for what you're here for, you want to know what Book D is. So I am happy to announce that Book D is none other than the Super Book Talk viral book, Divine Rivals. I am reading this one on an e-copy that I got from my local library for a couple reasons. I am very excited to read this book, but I would be lying if I didn't say that I have heard so many reviews that book 2 was kind of a flop. I was looking forward to buying the physical copy, but after hearing that book 2 wasn't phenomenal, I was kind of nervous to get a physical copy. Because then I'm going to be in another situation like Fourth Wing, where I was obsessed with the first book, got the physical copy. Book 2 was, no offense, but it was horrible. I really did not enjoy it in the slightest. But now, because I own the first 2 books and their physical copies, I'm gonna have to own all 5 books as they come out and read them, despite how much I do not like them. I hope that she takes a lot of the criticism from the second book and makes the third book better. I'm not saying there's no hope there, but this video is not about my opinions on the Fourth Wing series. That could be its whole own video, frankly. But no, this is really just about not wanting to buy a physical copy for a book that I don't think I'm going to love the whole series. However, I have heard only positive, amazing things about Divine Rivals. So that is where we're going to start today. Much like a lot of the books that I'm picking up for this series, and pretty much any book I pick up in life, I know nothing about it. Honestly, I think this is one of my biggest strengths, is that I don't need to, nor do I frankly want to, read the blurb of what a book is about before I read it. According to my ebook, this is 398 pages. Now, I will say, Book E is extremely short, which is where I get to the exciting part of this challenge. It is currently 10 a.m. on a Saturday. I'm going to try to read Book D and E in under 24 hours. Here's how I think I can accomplish this. I intentionally made this weekend as empty as possible. I have nothing that needs to get done these next 2 days, except for go to church on Sunday. On top of that, my husband, although we will miss him dearly, had a 14-hour shift today. So he left, and he's not getting back until well after I'm gonna be asleep. I literally have nothing going on. I am home alone all stinking day with nothing but these 2 books that I am super excited to read. If you want to guess in the comments what Book E is before I reveal it, the title starts with an E, and there is a movie based off of it. That is a widely known and loved movie. If this movie was not a part of your childhood, are you okay? Like, where did your love for fantasy come from if you did not grow up on this movie? So let's read for a little bit, and then once we hit that 25% mark, we'll have initial thoughts and feelings and emotions. This is so exciting. I'm gonna try to actually talk to you guys because I could read this book in one sitting today. And I'm gonna try to take breaks so that we can chat in a non-spoiler way, of course.
I think I've fallen for you, and I don't know why. I don't know why. You love that summer rain in mid-July, mid-July. My last name fits you better. When I'm with you, there's no pressure. I miss your worn-out sweaters. Weather couldn't compromise our love. I spent too much time on us.
Let me just say that, wow, I was not expecting anything that I have read up until this point. I don't have words. I hit exactly page 100, so chapter 13. If it were not for the determination to not cry with liquid eyeliner on, I would have sobbed at 2 points thus far. I don't know what I was expecting. I think I was expecting something a little more fantasy. My hair still looks wet even though I washed it like 2 hours ago. Oh, that's another thing. It is 12. I'm trying to document this now because I'm like, okay, I said I want to finish this in 24 hours, so now I actually want to see if I can. So we are 2 hours into our 24 hours of trying to read both these books. I can honestly say this is going to be a 5-star read. Oh my word. It is so well written, beautifully written, and just like emotionally jarring. Also, when you read a title like Divine Rivals, the last thing I was expecting was like workplace rivalry. That was not at all on the docket in my brain. Don't know what I was expecting, but it surely wasn't that. Especially with the title Divine Rivals, but we also learn that there is another rivalry of the gods. So I guess that's where Divine Rivals comes in. I was expecting it to be between the main character and someone else. So that's why I was really thrown off when it was like workplace rivalry. This isn't the author's terminology, this is me summarizing. There's basically the god of death and the goddess of music, and they're beefing, and we're not really sure why. And the main character's older brother decides to go fight for like this goddess of like music, right? And there's nothing fantastical about the world. Like, there's like mythology, but there's not magic. So it's not the kind of fantasy book I was expecting it to be. And I'm actually not mad. Maybe I just needed a break from fantasy and magic in general. At first, I was disappointed that this was a workplace rivalry, but in all reality, I am eating it up. Especially in journalism. Listen, I was a journalist major in college, and although I never did journalism ever as a profession, it is intense. I can feel the intensity. I'm eating it up. I'm enjoying it. I just really don't have any words, because honestly, anything I say after that really is just going to be a spoiler, and this is spoiler free. If you haven't read this book, you need to go pick it up. It feels so original. It feels so fresh and so new. I feel like with the rise of book talk and everything, people basically want to find dupes of their favorite books. Like, it's not even about finding original artistry, it's about just like trying to replicate a feeling you got with another book. And although I do think there's a time and place for that, I get it. I'm a mood reader. A lot of times I do enjoy a book that's a retelling or based off of something else or inspired by something else I have not read. Let me preface that, because I don't want anyone coming after me being like, well, this book is a lot like this book. Okay, for me, I have never read a book even remotely similar to this one. It's just so beautiful. All right, I'm gonna refill my coffee and keep reading because I don't want to stop. Like, I've been on fire for reading recently, but I haven't just like cranked out a book like this purely because it's all I wanted to do.
Gotta tell you all my secrets, and you know that just ain't easy for me. Oh baby, won't you come to my town? Last time around you ain't come to my house. Stay for a while, me, my mama and my family. We'll see, let's see.
This might be, and I do not say this lightly, the best book I've read so far this year. Honestly, I think the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy, like, it really does hold a special place in my heart, but like, this book is on that level. Okay, so it's 3:37 right now. I have less than 100 pages left. And when I tell you, I'm scared because I'm kind of at this point where it's like, I want the book to end right now. Like, this page I just read, I want it to be the last page. And the fact that there are almost 100 pages left horrify me because I am traumatized because I read Sarah J. Maas. And I know a lot can happen in that last 100 to 50 page stretch. And I'm so scared. I've already cried 4 times reading this book. I am in love with the plot. I am in love with the writing style. I'm in love with the characters. I'm in love with the romance, the vibes, the era, like everything. And the thing is, like, it's not a happy book. Like, this is a time of war and people are dying and it's so tragic. But at the same time, it's like this story is like light in the time of darkness. I feel this story in my soul. I need to text my friend Caitlin, who's read this book. I need to finish this book right now. Just right now. I need to finish it. I'm so scared. I'm literally... I'm kind of at this point where I just know This is too good to be true. I am so scared. Everything's perfect, and I know something's gonna happen. My anxiety is really ramping up right now, and I can't say anything because I don't want to spoil it, but I just can't process my emotions right now. It's 4 o'clock, by the way, in case you were wondering.
A couple people trying to make up for your broke heart, looking for love, and I think that I'm a good start. I know that you've been through a whole lot, but I have too. So baby, when you're missing me and it feels right, and I'm in your dreams like every night, I don't know why you won't give me another chance. With all our years in an hourglass, yeah. I think I've fallen for you.
Okay, 5 stars, 5.5 stars, maybe 6 stars. I need book 2, like, right this second. But the next book starts with an R. We're only on E. R is so far away, and I don't know what to do. I had to take a minute. It's now 5 o'clock. I needed a minute because if I had tried to talk to the camera in that moment, I think I would have just cried, like vented in text form to my husband and my friend Caitlin. And I think I'm now ready. Let's start with the chart. Book D, Divine Rivals. 5 stars, without a doubt. Here's the thing. I'm not going to talk anymore about the book because I think if you watched what I just experienced, I don't think I really need to talk about the contents of the book anymore. I think you get it. Book 2 would have to be insane to even compare to book 1. I don't know. I'm just a little scared to read book 2. Like, I need it, but at the same time, I'm horrified that I'll only be disappointed. The last thing I want to do right now is pick up another book, but I must say, I could not be happier to pick up this book because I know it's not going to let me down. Now, book E is nice and short, so even though it's 5 and we have 5 hours till my bedtime, I know for a fact we're going to finish this one with more than enough time to watch the movie. Now listen, I grew up on this movie, one of my favoriteest movies of my childhood. Did not know it was based off a book. I feel a little silly because it definitely is very book coded, but that is Ella Enchanted. I feel like for episode 1 we had like a nostalgic book. Episode 2 we have a nostalgic book. Don't expect me to keep up that trend though. It really just happened like this. It all started because I was looking up a book that started with an E, and no one had recommended a book that started with an E yet. So I was like, okay, I'll do some research. Looked on my TBR. Not a single book that started with an E. That wasn't like the 5th book in a series. So I was like, okay. I typed in the letter E to Goodreads and then filtered it by title. And this came up and I was like, what? But honestly, the more I searched, there was no book that started with an E that seemed interesting to me. Anywho, this is a library copy, so it's a little rough around the edges. It's very well loved, to say the least. I'm gonna read this. Hello, buddy.
Hi, buddy. What are you doing?
Recovering. I'm also vlogging, so say hello to the camera.
Hello, camera.
I don't know how I'm gonna recover from Divine Rivals.
I know, so good. What is he?
E is Ella Enchanted, and then I'm gonna bake banana bread muffins and watch the movie tonight.
I love it.
I love it too.
I wasn't gonna spoil anything for you.
Right.
But it like actually broke me.
Listen, I was sobbing before things even went wrong because I knew.
I think when I knew was when he was
Yes. Okay, yes. And then when they said that, I was like, we're really just gonna pretend.
like, we're just gonna choose to ignore that. Cool.
So sorry, I did have to take that. Do you want to say hello? Say hello. I do feel better after talking to someone else. Now, as for Ella Enchanted, we are going to, as you probably heard me tell Caitlin on the phone, we're going to read the book, we're gonna bake something, and then we're just gonna watch the movie. There's only 230 pages, and look at how many words are on a page. We're gonna fly through this book. I do need to bake banana muffins, so I do have to make more of that. I might make some cookies as well, just to surprise Sebastian when he gets home, because I know he likes cookies, and I like to surprise him by baking him things, because that's my love language, is to bake people things. So come hang out with me one day and I'll bake you something. That's just how I communicate my love. I'll also make you a coffee. I'll make you coffee and we'll eat cookies or scones or muffins and we'll read books. I don't think anyone's running to grab this book from their local library if they haven't read it as a child, so I'm actually probably going to talk about this book pretty openly. I'm going to retract my previous statement about this being a fully spoiler-free vlog. There's going to be a little bit of spoiling going on here, but in my opinion, if this is a spoiler for you because you haven't seen the movie, what are you doing? Pause this, watch Ella Enchanted, then come back to this and hit play. I know I haven't even been reading for a hot minute. Ella's dad is the worst. Like, hey baby. I don't remember what role the dad plays in the movie, but like, he's actually the worst in this book. Like, doesn't even love his wife, doesn't care that she died, only cares that apparently the prince, so Prince Charmant, comes to the funeral because apparently the family was like very upper class. And the worst part is that he wasn't even upper class until he married Ella's mom. So he's literally like a gold digger. I have officially hit the halfway point of this book at around page 118, so a couple pages over halfway. And let me just say, I've got some beef with this book. It's not that deep, but I'm making it that deep. I don't know, like, listen, the directors and producers and all that had to take so much creative liberty with the movie, but I'm so glad that they did. Something that really bothers me is how sexist this book is. It's humorous. Like, you can tell that a man wrote this about a 15-year-old girl, because first of all, girls aren't like this. Second of all, he's writing that, like, Prince Char is like,
silly girls, like, girls are always causing problems, and me and my knights always have to solve so many problems because of silly girls, and if girls weren't so silly, then we would be out of a job.
Kind of the idea. And then Ella laughs at this, like she also thinks it's funny. And I'm like, my Ella Enchanted would never. So, hello. Oh, hello. Please stop. You're being intrusive. Something else about Prince Char, you can tell that although he's like a good man at heart, and as much as he wants to be good, he definitely has some of that negative influence from his father. And Ella helps him see that. Hello. Ella helps him see that negative influence, and oh. Ella helps Char see that he has some negative influence from his father. That is not the case in the book. In the book, it's literally like, she meets him as a child, she thinks he's so sweet and nice, like she never goes through a phase where she thinks he's a spoiled little brat. They're just friends off the bat, and then he just rescues her all the time, and he's perfect. I don't like that. I really like how the movie added complexity and realism to that relationship. I don't like the crappy father plotline. It's just a little much. Like, can this girl have something in her life that's not going south? Her mother's dead, her father sucks, her fairy godmother is like the worst, and the stepsisters are also horrible, as you know from watching the movie. Also, I'm convinced after reading this that me and my husband need to be Ella and Prince Char for Halloween. I wonder if they're gonna do the whole king finding out about her obedience thing and convincing her to betray Prince Char. Because if they do that, I would be very surprised at this point, because I'm halfway through the book and I don't even think we've really met the king other than when he showed up at that one funeral. There was something else. Oh yeah, the boyfriend. You know how like the magic book, right, is really Benny? Benny is not in this. And Benny is one of my favorite parts of Ella Enchanted. So the fact that Benny the boyfriend who's trapped in the book doesn't exist actually breaks my heart. Let's just say I'm very interested to see how this is gonna end. So let's keep reading because I need to watch this movie. It is currently 7 o'clock. So it took me, what, an hour to read the first half of the book? So it should take me an hour to finish it. Give or take a couple minutes. of the day, I'm gonna take my makeup off and we're gonna chat and then we're gonna watch Ella Enchanted. I remembered a couple chapters in because this book was so boring that I was able to think about what I was gonna eat tonight, what I wanted to bake, and it occurred to me that we ran out of butter yesterday. There were like 3 different things I had in my mind that I wanted to make, and all of them include butter, so I will not be baking tonight. Well, first of all, let's pull up the chart. Book E, Ella Enchanted. We've officially finished it. This book inspired one of my favorite childhood movies. I would be super lame to like discount that and not consider that. So you know what? It gets bonus points for inspiring. And I use the word inspiring very loosely because this book is quite literally just Cinderella, beginning to end, with the exception that there are giants and she has to obey everything that she's told. There have been so many Cinderella retellings, and when I tell you every single time, there's never been a single explanation for why this one shoe only fits Cinderella and no one else. Thankfully, though, in this book, they do explain it because she's technically half fairy or a quarter fairy, so her feet stopped growing. I think they said the age was like 9 years old. So like one of the traits of a fairy is crazy small feet, and that's like one of the fairy traits that she got. So there's at least an explanation for why she's the only person who can wear this stinking shoe. That has always bothered me more so than it should. I know this was written by a man for young girls, but this book was not for young girls. The movie, on the other hand, the movie's for the girls. Well, I have nothing to bake and nothing else to do for the rest of the night. It is a little bit past 8. Whoa, hold up. It's 8. It's only been 10 hours. I said I was going to read both these books in under 24 hours, and I read them under 12 hours. I am very impressed with myself. Good job, Ruby. If you saw episode 1, which what are you doing watching episode 2 if you haven't watched episode 1? If for any chance you didn't, I was really discouraged that it took me forever to read those 3 books. And I know, okay, I get some comments from people being like, how do you get so much time to read? I wish I had so much time to read. Guys, I don't. I do not by any means have a lot of free time. This is what I spend my free time doing. Also, a little life hack. If I ever have a day like this where I know I have free time and I want to spend it a specific way, in this case reading, I go to the settings on my iPhone and I go to offload apps. And I offload TikTok and Instagram because those are the 2 that like I'll scroll through Reels and TikToks all the time. That is my best life hack to you because I used to think that I had no time, but in reality, if I ever had pockets of time here and there, I would just spend it scrolling. If I know that I'm gonna have time to scroll and I want to spend it doing other things, whether that's more productive or more intentional rest, I offload those apps. That's typically comments coming from people who haven't actually been around, so they're not aware I'm working full time. I feel like sometimes people just assume if you're posting YouTube videos, you're making a ton of money off of it. I am not. I'm actually making barely any money at all. Trust me, if however much you think I'm making 10% of that. Potentially even less. Although if you do want to help and support my channel, fun fact, you can do one of 2 things. Watch the ads and do not skip them. Fun fact, you do not make money on ads as a YouTuber if they're skipped. So if you really want to support a baby channel like mine, or really just any small YouTuber that you love, do not skip the ads. Number 2, obviously books are expensive. So if you actually go down to my description, I have a title that says choose my next read. And that's actually a wish list of all the books that I would love to read for vlogs for you guys. So if you, by any chance, have a book that you really, really want me to read in a vlog, you can select a book from that list and send it to my house, and I would read it in a vlog. Anywho, my bedtime is 10 o'clock, and it is currently 8:15, and I think Ella Enchanted is an hour and 45 minutes. So by all means, this is technically the end of the video, but we are going to be watching Ella Enchanted, of course. I am currently taking suggestions for books G, I, and K. Those are the upcoming books that I actually don't have pre-selected. So if you know any books that you absolutely love that you think I would give 5 stars to, that start with G, I, or K, please put them in the comments down below, and I will thoroughly research them on Goodreads and maybe even read them in an upcoming episodes of the ABC Reading Challenge.